Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about physical and digital media. Yes, again. Stay tuned. Let's check it out. All right, guys. So we are back talking about something that I always love jumping into, and that's what's going on with physical media and what's going on with digital media. Is it something that we need to talk about? Yes, we definitely do need to talk about it. And normally, I kind of feel like I always feel like I've already said what is there to be said about it. But lately, a lot of people that I follow on YouTube are bringing it up again, bringing up points, and I think what physical media is right now is every so often you have to dip your toe into the pool and see where are you at? Where are we at with physical media? Is it really going away as fast as we think it's going away? Is it going away? Is this it for it? Is everything going to be digital? And normally I talk about this kind of stuff on my on my podcast, the worst podcast ever. But I feel like I'm beating a dead horse every time I bring it up on there. So I figure I'd do a quick video here. I say quick, but maybe not a quick video, but and just go over it here. And because I don't want you guys out there to have to just stare at this ugly mug the whole time. Here in the background is me playing games badly because there's no other way I do it. All right. So yesterday, I watched the John Campea show, which if you guys aren't aware of who that is or what show that is, it's the John Campea show is a show that's been around a while. He used to be on Collider, and he has his own kind of podcast for movies and movie news and all that kind of stuff. And I've been watching him forever. And he had this segment yesterday on his show about, something that we're going to get into here at some point here, but a disc that scientists are developing that is, in fact, like a Blu-ray disc, but it is a 200,000 gigabyte pretty much Blu-ray disc. Now, 200,000 gigabytes. I'm not sure exactly how close they are to figuring this out, but it got him talking, him and a lot of the people that he has on his show with him. Hey, is this something that's going to save physical media? And we're going to get into that disc here in a minute, because there's not really too much to say about the actual disc itself. But for me, I guess where we start this conversation off, as far as physical media and digital media is, for me, where I come from is, I come from a generation where, digital wasn't a thing. I'm a kid of the 80s. I'm 45. I was born in 78. So, my generation was the generation that didn't have all this stuff, and then seeing the progression of all this stuff becoming a thing, which, is actually kind of cool. But, the generations coming after us, namely like maybe my kids' generation and that are seeing the demise and a shift in physical media and the way we consume media. And that also has to do with technology. Technology is improving, is sending us into different paths as far as the way we consume media, namely as far as like music and movies and games, because that's really what we're talking about here. So yeah, but I am a collector, and even in my generation, I'm very much a tactile. I like to have this thing, and I like to put it on my shelf, and I like to buy a lot of these things and have them on my shelf so I can sit here or stand there and say, look at, this is all my stuff. This is great. This is what I do, and I, to be honest with you, I collect probably too much stuff, especially if you ask my wife. I do collect games. I collect, vinyl and movie props and stuff like that. But that's what I do. I like having that stuff here and being surrounded here in my game room with that stuff. Not everybody from my generation is like that, because a lot of us are doing this kind of switching over to physical to digital very, very well. I mean, and plus, the way things are going, we're not really getting that big of a choice here. It's just, this is what it is. So I tried to write down some of the positives and cons or whatever, but ultimately, a little bit into doing this process, I decided that I'm just gonna probably end up ranting. But what I did end up writing down, so I said, what are some of the positives like going digital? What are some of the positives? Well, maybe not so much for us, but for the companies that make this media, it's cost. If you don't have to make a physical thing then and ship it and have retail stores sell it for you, then that is vastly more cost effective and a lot easier on yourselves. Because let's not kid ourselves here, and this is going to be the big thing that you and all of us have to remember, is the main reason why we are going away from physical is two things, and they both go together 100%. That's how convenient it is. It's convenient for other people, which is awesome for these companies, because their main goal here is to make money. Let's not kid ourselves. The companies that make media, Sony and Xbox and in any of these Hollywood studios that make movies and studios that make music, or they don't do anything that's not good for themselves. Everything is for them to make a bigger profit. They're a business, and I understand that. But, a lot of us have to understand too, it's like, hey, what's going on here is not for our benefit. Okay. Sometimes it does benefit us, very much so. But trust me when I say that the biggest benefit to going from physical to digital is for the companies that control the media. Okay. One of the positives for us is, hey, if you're not having a physical item in your house, then guess what? Then you don't have something physically taking up space in your house. You don't have something on a shelf or a whole bunch of things on the shelf. You don't have to worry about where you're going to put all these things at. You just log into your phone, or for a lot of us, of course, this is a gaming channel, log into your gaming system. Because a lot of people, the gaming systems are their media player for everything. Their games, their music, and, their streaming services. They're also 4K players, Blu-ray players, which is obviously still physical. But, yeah, I mean, it just, gaming systems are usually, in a lot of households nowadays, one of the main. I still think the main thing is probably phones, because everybody has a phone, pretty much. So I would have to say, if I was guessing, that cell phones are probably, smartphones are probably the number one media consumption. Now, the other positive that I've heard, and I don't know that I agree with this 100%, is one of the benefits for digital is the cost for the consumers, for us. I hear people say this from time to time, and I cringe to say yes. Maybe in certain circumstances, but let's not kid ourselves. Like I said before, companies aren't out to do us a whole bunch of favors here. They're there to make money. And the money that they're saving, this extra money that's going into their pockets, they're not in any way interested in, selling it, selling that or sending that down the line. So, when you see stuff that go, a lot of the digital stuff that I see nowadays isn't any cheaper than if you bought physical. So all they're doing is, they're not changing the prices. They're just keeping that extra money. Now, I say that's a very generalization as far as, from what I see. Now, to be honest with you, how much stuff have I bought digitally? Barely anything. But when I do go on there to check out, on my phone, I'm on Amazon or whatever, and you could see if I buy this movie digitally, how much is this going to cost, and so on and so forth. Games. That's a big thing with our gaming systems here. How much are the games digitally? Because the store is right there. You can just, bam, pop right into the store, see how much it is. And yeah, a lot of times they do run sales, but a lot of times these AAA games, they're not usually going to have them on sale because they got to recoup those costs. Those games cost a lot to develop, and I understand that. But so, like, when people say, oh, it's saving us a whole bunch of money, I'm like, I don't know about that. And I hesitate to say it doesn't. I just don't know. I don't want to say a solid yes or no on that, because I think you can make an argument both ways on that. So let's talk about physical media and maybe like what are some of the benefits of having physical media. Well, I think one of the biggest benefits, and the thing that really all this conversation really boils down to, and I'm not talking about like collectors. Let's say you're not a collector. Let's say you're just an average Joe or average Jane out there. And what are we talking about here when we say positives or negative of physical and digital media? Well, for me especially, I know for myself, this mainly boils down to control. Control of the media in which you purchase to consume. Okay? And, and you'll get people that argue, which drives me nuts, that say, well, when you bought that game back in the day, yeah, it was physical, but the only thing you were really paying for was a license to be able to watch it or play it. And it's like, shut up. I'm like, look, are those people wrong? No, they're not. But at the same time, too, it's like I bought this to bring home, to control what's on here. Meaning, if I want to watch this right now, I can. If I want to watch it a year from today, I can watch it. As long as I have this copy here, I can watch it. Whatever happens to the company that made this or developed it or produced it and sent it out, no matter what happens to that company, I am still going to be able to watch this, to consume it, to play this game because I own a copy of it. What digital is saying, look, we are allowing you to watch a copy of this. You're not going to have a physical copy of this. We are saying that somewhere on some server somewhere is your copy. And when you want to watch it, you're going to be able to watch it. And even the stuff that you download to like maybe your game system or whatever, look, you can only hold so much with the storage that you have on your device, which means that anything you buy as far as a digital library is not going to fit all at once on your devices, your video game machines, consoles, your phones, whatever that may be. So you're going to have to get rid of some of that to be able to bring new stuff on there. And the whole gist of it is like, well, yeah, you can delete that off of your system. You can delete that off your phone, but you still own that. You still own the right to be able to use that. All you have to do is download it again, because in your account, it already shows you as have purchased this item, this digital copy. So all you have to do is download it again when you want to watch it. The problem is what happens when that service goes away, or the service decides that, we're no longer going to let you have access to that. And people are like, well, they can't do that. Well, it kind of has already happened. If you have kept up with anything that has been going on, especially like what I know Sony has done over the last couple of years, with some of the movement they've done with online stores and whatnot, and there was a service there where everybody was buying their anime, you know, and all of a sudden something changed, and they were supposed to carry over to the new service all the purchases that people had made. Well, didn't turn out that way, and where are those purchases at? I purchased this, I want to consume it now. And that's the biggest problem I have, is I guess the control of it all. You know, to me, it is very disconcerting for me to not have the control over, to feel like somebody else is just holding their hand over the button, and any time they could just take it away from you or give it back. I just don't like that. Now, I'm not sure that, and that may be the real question here, is, are we talking about what's going on with digital and physical media, or are we talking about, like, where are we at with as far as how we control our media? Because if there was a way for me to download a digital file and have a storage system here, hard drives or whatever, and for me to put it on there, and then whenever I wanted to play it, I don't need to be connected to the internet or anything like that. I could just go on to the hard drive, boot it up, and play it right on my TV, you know, as far as games or movies or whatever. If that's the case, I have no problem with that, you know. But that's not how digital necessarily is working nowadays. And especially with games, because a lot of times you need to be hooked up to the internet to even have permission to play these games, which is really something that I don't like. I am very much a person who doesn't like people or other entities telling me what I can and can't do. It's just the way I am. But, you know, and for a while there, one of the big things was these games are getting too big. You know, the movies, the resolution and everything, they're getting too big. You know, we don't have discs. We don't have cartridges that are going to fit these games. It's just too hard, because even the games that you buy physical today, the whole game is not on there. You're buying part of the game, and then when you put that game, that CD or Blu-ray disc into your system, it is then downloading the remainder of the game off the internet. Because what's the first thing it does besides tell you need to install it on there? It's not only installing from the disk, it's installing from their servers the rest of what it needs. And then, of course, you know, after that gets done, then it's got to update for, you know, another 5 hours, which is, you know, great. But yeah, people are like, oh, you know, physical media, you know, is probably going away within the next 5 years. It's gone as far as the gaming realm goes. You know, that disc that you have, if you don't have a full game on that disc, then what does it matter? If you only have a part of a game on here and the rest has to be downloaded from some other place on the internet, you know, then it's not really a physical game that you control. It's just a physical item, and the thing on there is incomplete. It's not what, for me, I would say I would pay for. And I mean, I know this is just ramblings and whatever, but, you know, so I guess where I'm going with this is, you know, I had seen on the John Campea show, and then Metal Jesus Rocks put something out today with a whole bunch of people talking about, you know, their views on it. And it just got me thinking again, you know, where are we at? And I think this is something where we're going to have to keep doing. We're going to have to dip our toes in every now and again and be like, where the hell are we with this? You know, are we going digital? Well, the companies are definitely going to say yes, but, you know, I got to believe that we are going to be able to take control back of how we control being able to watch this media. I do a lot of stuff with emulation, a lot of stuff with being able to, you know, with flash drives and this and that. And I can tell you right now is where maybe the size of the files and being able to hold that on something that you could sell might have been an issue 3 or 4 years ago. Trust me when I say this, it is not. The technology has come far enough along, and the pricing has also come far enough, is actually dropped far enough for if any company wanted to make probably, I would say, a cartridge-based system where the games were on a cartridge again, you could do it. Flash drive is definitely going to be able to let you do that. And going forward here, stuff's only going to get better as far as drives go, as far as memory goes, storage. So to say that physical media is going, I would think that the only reason why, excuse me, sorry about that. The only reason we would say that it really probably would go was not because we can't keep it going. It's because people just want to have the ease of, popping up an app on their phone and being able to watch it instantly, and not really worrying down the line, hey, I paid $25 for this movie, or, $45 for this game. Am I going to be able to play it in 10 years? Who's thinking 10 years down the line? So anyway, let's get back into this disc, this new Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray disc that is supposed to hold, let me see here, 200,000 gigabytes, which, in case you didn't know, is 200 terabytes. So, pretty substantial. Okay, let me see here. It says a research team from Shanghai just published a research paper on Nature that explains how we can use 3D nanoscaling storage to store 200,000 gigabytes on one disk. The technology uses a light-sensitive material called AIE-DDPR and two different optical lasers. One blue laser with a 480 nanometer wavelength and one orange laser with a 592 nanometer wavelength to read the data stored on the disk. Writing to the disk requires a green 515 nanometer laser as well as a red 639 nanometer laser. While traditional storage techniques use 2 dimensions, the new optical technology uses 3 and can have up to 100 layers that could be read. That equates to a 4,000-fold increase over the 3-layer 100 gigabyte limit that Blu-ray discs have today. So, first of all, that's pretty fantastic if that's true. If that's something that they're really going to be able to develop. It sounds like, when I'm reading it here, it's a research paper. I don't know, how close to an actual physical reality this thing is. I'm guessing maybe pretty close. Hopefully. Here's the thing with that. And because on the John Campea show, they were asking, is this something that's going to maybe possibly save physical media from going away? And I don't think so. Obviously something like this would be, even though they're saying it's a new way to have a 4K Blu-ray it's an entirely different format. You're going to need different machines to read this media. And, nowadays, it's sometimes hard to find a regular DVD or Blu-ray player. And now, this comes along, and you're going to say, well, now for the consumer, we're going to have to make another kind of disc player for this. And are people going to want to buy this? Because, like I said, the people who are used to physical media, that number is going to get lower and lower and lower as time goes on. And the people that are more accustomed to, streaming and digital stuff, that number is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because that's, as the older generations kind of die off and the new generations keep coming up, the new norm is going to be digital. So I don't think that would be something that saves physical. I think what it's going to be is it's going to be, something that's good for storage, in the, maybe in the IT realm, stuff like that. But and even with that too, I kind of in my mind I'm like, well, I don't know how interested a lot of the people in IT or any of us are in going back to, a mechanical drive that has to, spin up a disk, because, everything we're doing now, where it's for your computers, an NVMe drive or a SATA 2.5, SSD, everything's solid state now because it's so much faster, and the reliability on these things is so much more than a working drive, a working hard drive, or a disk drive. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. But I have a mic and I have a little bit of an audience. So, I figured, well, this kind of ticks me off a little bit because I'm always so sad that physical media is going away. And I figure I'd just get on here and let you know what my 2 cents are. But let me know what you guys think. I'm really interested because I'm sure they're, depending on your age, maybe, everybody has different thoughts on this. Or maybe your age doesn't have anything to do with it. And, you're just fine with physical media going away. Let's face it, it's not the end of the world. But it's so sad that physical media might be dead. And, my console's going to turn off here in 5 minutes. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really want to know what you think. So, hey, drop down into the comments after you like this video. And, hey, let me know. Let everybody know. What do you think? Digital or physical? All right, guys. Till next time. See you later. And goodbye.